How has burnout shown up in your life and how have you personally dealt with it? Ooh, well, uh somebody said I'll double down on that advice. Love it. Um yeah, burnout. So I actually finally got to the point. Actually, I would have gotten to it sooner considering how hard I go, but I did actually get to a point of full-blown burnout at the end of 2022, which I had never experienced before. Like, I know the concept of burnout, I've taught about it and I felt it to some extent, but I literally felt full-blown burnout, as in I have no motivation. I'm weary. I don't even know if I want to do any of this anymore, like anything. Um, and it was a horrible feeling. It was a horrible feeling. And as someone who tends to know a lot of answers, I did not have the answer. I really just had to kind of fumble through and create space for that. Among some of the things that I explored to get myself through it was just literally allowing myself to just step back. Thankfully, I have a great team. And of course, I had to trust that they would do that, but I didn't as much struggle with that. But it was just, the reality was that there's just nothing else that I can do but to step back. And so it started off more as half working, half stepping back, waking up late, leaving early, waking up late and leaving early. And then it eventually got to what turned into a sabbatical, which, I've heard of sabbaticals, but, many of us don't know people who've even taken them. And unfortunately, most people are not in position to take one. And so I landed in what turned out to be about 11 days. And again, I had no idea what to do. So I really had to challenge myself to just sort through moment by moment, literally what to do and how to handle it. And so it turned out to be 11 days of being out of town. I would say that the sabbatical, there was like partial sabbatical going on before that. I don't know, this might have been a 30 or 45-day run. But during that time, I literally gave myself permission to give up on all my dreams, shut my business down, do what I said I'd never do again, and that's get a job. Like, I literally went on Indeed and looked at jobs and everything. Of course, that didn't work out, which I'm glad. But it was definitely a rough period, and so I had to try to remind myself of what works for me. I went down to Florida. Anytime I'm in Florida, I feel better. And I just literally took it one day at a time. There were days I were feeling better. And then there are moments where I'm not proud of this, where I would just like snap at the waitress and I'm like, oh, okay, we're still not well. And so, it was just really creating space to wander. And again, there was some thinking. There were times that I spent thinking about burnout and what was going on. And there are other times I just wasn't thinking about anything. But ultimately, I ended up deciding, which I had been planning, knowing for the last few years that I would get a place in Florida. But I did pull the trigger on faith and made that move. But I will say, because I've done this many times before, move to another city thinking that everything will be okay and better because you do that. And so I did not do that because I know that doesn't work. However, I do know that there's something magical about Florida for me, not only in the sense of the water and the weather, but the people are amazing. It's more diverse down there. It's just a whole win for me. So, anyway, step back for long enough that when I returned, I actually looked forward to getting to work and felt inspired and excited. And so, again, many of us can't take sabbaticals. So I will say, hey, let's try not to get there. Let's try not to get to burnout. But I would also say this is one of those reasons why, it's so important that we are being smart about our money and growing ourselves in our discipline as it relates to finances and whatnot, so that we are in position in case of emergency, be it that you need a sabbatical or you need a new set of tires, that you're in position to give that to yourself. And so, so unfortunately, we have a world, and certainly America, a place where most folks are living check to check and moment to moment, and unfortunately are not able to tap into the things that we really need in those moments where we either need some money or need some time or need some money to have some time. And so, again, first recommendation is avoid burnout. Easier said than done. Second is, again, put yourself in position to step back if needed. I will say that, and I can't imagine where I would be if I didn't do this, because I still got the burnout. But I've been taking quarterly vacations for the last 2 years religiously, where I don't work for the entire time, and those have been life changing. So, again, hopefully none of you ever experience burnout, but if you do, I would just encourage you to sort of just create space to allow yourself to explore all possibilities, to see what is needed, because sometimes it is going to be a matter of that something drastic needs to change, that you either need to quit a job, quit a boo, make a move, whatever it is. And sometimes it's just you need to sit your butt down. So hopefully that helps. But again, hopefully you won't need that advice.